one of the things which one needs to really be aware of, when we talk about connected homes, is the fact that the complications are pretty much very high. Because see, a smart home is actually an interplay of interconnected devices, and it actually comprises of a wide range of components. So it is not just about a particular product. So it is about smart devices having sensors built in, controllers, automation software, networking hardware, communication protocols. So there are too many elements, and it is actually a interplay between these elements. So the first challenge, I think, is more about how does one address this complicated nature of this entire integration. So that is point number one. Point number two is, when you talk about this kind of complication, you need to have someone, because see, this is something wherein it is not a do-it-yourself kind of a thing. So if I am a customer, or if you are a customer, and you want to really go in for this kind of a connected home, you need to have someone in the form of a system integrator who will actually do this entire integration of the components which I mentioned. So now when you talk about this, the system integrator has to be really capable, and the capability has to be on two parts. The first part is more on understanding the customer. What is the requirement of the exact requirement of the customer? Because we have seen, and being in the security industry, we've seen that many a times the customer actually wants the security elements to be separate, or to be discrete than the other elements. Because if you look at it, there are a lot of appliances which now are getting into this domain of connected homes or smart homes, but security is something which the customers would still want to have full control. So this understanding has to be there, when the system integrator is and really going and trying to probe. He has to do a thorough check up into what exactly is the customer requirement, what is the customer mindset. So that is one part of it. The second capability is in terms of installation, in terms of execution of that project. So he needs to understand all these elements. He needs to be an expert on all these elements, so that the integration becomes perfect. So these are the challenges. The last challenge, I think, is more in terms of the customer not being loyal to one brand. So what would happen is, when you're talking about this interplay of devices, the customer would actually go in for multi-brand, different products coming from different brands. So one of the challenges which one will face during this installation or execution would be the interoperability, which means that the devices, when they talk to each other, they should be compatible to each other. Because if they are coming in from different brands, then they need to be compatible. Otherwise, the entire system will go for a toss. So these are the kind of challenges which are going to be critical. And today, if you look at it, the smart home adoption has just started. Although there is a good amount of runway and ahead, and it is growing at speed, but we are at a cusp where this thing will really take off. But unless and until these challenges are really addressed, it is going to be a difficult game to play. I would talk more on the AI aspect, because I think machine learning is something which is still primitive as far as the entire scheme of things is concerned when it comes to the connected homes. But AI, definitely, I think AI is definitely catching up, and artificial intelligence is going to play a vital role. So I can give you an example whereby which is becoming more and more prominent. So today, I think. Customers do want air conditioners to operate with the ambient, change in the ambient. So if the temperature, really outside temperature, goes up, they would want the AC to automatically adjust to the external temperature. So whether the temperature goes up, then the air conditioner will adjust its own temperature, and then it will ensure that the temperature inside will remain constant. So, you actually don't need to really set it up by a remote control. So that is the kind of intelligence one is building. The second aspect, I think, is more in terms of security. I think, see, India has already embarked upon the journey of digital personal data protection. The bill is already passed. And I think, you already seen what is happening in Europe. The GDPR, the General Data Protection Regulation, is already in place. So I think it is up to the onus is on the OEMs or the providers of the hub, so to call, which actually is like the heart of the entire smart home or the connected home. I think one needs to be very, very conscious. One needs to really follow the discipline that the data processing has to happen for legitimate purposes, and you need to really have, explicitly the data has to be used for the purpose of which it is really collected for. And that, of course, the onus is on the OEMs, the onus is on the people who are supplying the hubs, and of course, the integrators who are ultimately going to put it together. So there are things which we are also working on, and one of the things which has been a customer insight which we got is that customers are more comfortable in having their data stored on servers placed in India. So one of the things which we are doing consciously is ensuring that the data is stored on servers which are placed in India. So that is how we are ensuring that the security aspects of the data are taken care of, and we do give comfort to our customers. One has to be really, really conscious, and one needs to be very disciplined in terms of ensuring that the data is used for legitimate purposes. And see, what happens is the customers actually want a comfort. So if you are actually going to use a smart home, there'll be a lot of data points which will get captured, from various devices, and it will also throw a lot of insights into your daily habits, as to what kind of temperatures you prefer, what kind of TV channels you prefer, what kind of food you order. So there is a lot of data which is actually getting collected, and and more people getting into this domain of connected and smart devices. You will have huge amount of data really flowing in. So now, it is the onus or is on the service providers who actually would be receiving, or wherever this data is stored, the companies who would actually store this data on the servers. It is entirely up to them to ensure that this data is security and secrecy and privacy is really taken care of. Otherwise, the customers will be jittery to really use these smart gadgets or the connected gadgets. And you can imagine, because the moment you start, saying that, okay, Alexa, you order so and so, dish, or so everything is getting captured. Your entire lifestyle is actually open, and this data can be used by a lot of companies. This can be used for various purposes, good or bad. And that's where I think the digital personal data protection bill, which is passed in the Indian Parliament, will definitely come into play. And what I understand is that the repercussions of not following the discipline of or not following the data privacy would definitely call for huge amounts of penalties and penal actions against the companies. So I think definitely this is going to tighten up more and more, and I believe this will definitely come to the rescue of Indian customers who are going to be early adopters of smart homes or connected homes. And I'm sure that companies will have, and there are, see, one of the things you need to really understand is that it is companies like Godrej and big companies who have embarked upon this journey to take things forward on smart homes. And definitely there is a certain amount of discipline, certain amount of ethics which these companies follow. So it is definitely going to help the customers in the long run. But yes, I think it is definitely a sensitive issue, and there is a lot to be done. I think there has to be more clarity also coming in on the DPDP bill, which is has been passed. So these are early days, but I'm sure that the government will also take action in terms of ensuring that the data, the personal data, is protected by the companies who take ownership of it.